It's been a whole week. It's been a while since I've been talking some Gundam. I'm glad to be back.
7 days.
Wait, you guys saw that videotape too?
Yeah, I got a phone call afterwards. They said that they were going to drop me off $1,000.
Oh.
You're crossing the streams. Don't cross the streams.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gundam Roundtable. This is, of course, episode 16. And, guys, how are we doing?
Not too
Pretty
bad.
solid. Pretty solid.
Solid enough that you look like you can't breathe.
Doing
good.
well.
I'm good.
So, how's
Passion
everyone's
is
week
painful. Always remember that.
What he said. He said fashion is painful.
Yes, fascism is painful.
No,
I mean, I was
fascism
thinking
is good. Fashion is bad.
Yes, fascism is bad.
So I thought we were going to talk about.
FASH-ism.
Yes, I know.
I thought you guys were talking about fashion. I was going to bring up, heel, like the idea of like heeled shoes.
Anyway, moving on.
So yeah, brightest day. I understand you were in Atlanta for a few days there.
That's classified. But yes, I was. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. There wasn't a whole bunch of Gundam representation down there, but there were a couple, and I was one of them. So
Need to spread the magic.
no, I'm going to avoid going back as soon as possible.
Oh, it wasn't that good fun, huh?
It was fun, but it was definitely enemy territory. I'll put it that way.
Ooh.
Xeon space.
I wish Xeon Space would have been more forgiving.
Oh, what was going on there?
A lot
Yes, it would have.
of blue-haired land whales.
Oh,
Dragon Con.
so basically we were in.
Yeah.
So basically, it was the fandom was invaded.
Yeah, kind of. It's
The fandom was invaded.
I
was
saw
fun.
that there was a Cyberfrog cosplayer there. Did you happen to see that?
if I did, I didn't notice.
Ah,
40. There were 40,000 people there.
Well, if they were there, then you'd be hearing all kinds of people shrieking their heads off, saying all kinds
Evil,
of wonderful
all frogs.
things.
They'll be saying all frogs must die.
Yeah, something like that.
For the most part, everybody was pretty cool. It was actually just like people just having fun.
Well,
That
that's
everybody
good.
was more upset about the whole mask thing. So
Yeah, I can
Still,
imagine.
Always avoid the
Mask.
womaness.
okay. So today's episode.
That's right. I should probably look at those notes at some point.
Yeah, today's
Might be helpful.
episode was kind of a fun one, and it's, if I do remember correctly, it's the one that the second Gundam movie starts with, the events, I should say.
So I think it would be worth mentioning at the top of the show here that we are talking about what is episode 16, but for the Western releases, it would be episode 15.
Yes, because last week's episode is technically not released for Western audiences underneath the orders of Domino.
Right. Because as I managed to pull up I didn't get a chance to double check it and look into it, but apparently he was just not happy with some of the animation to it, which
kind of, I mean, it wasn't bad animation really. It kind of had some decent shots in it.
Yeah, there were some unique shots that were brand new to that episode, and I think it was a pretty cool one. I mean, how can you go wrong with Mobile Suit Martial Arts?
Yes.
I mean, apparently Tomino doesn't like it because when they later went to do G Gundam, he wasn't working on that one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. G Gundam. For those of you in the audience that wants to know what G Gundam basically is like, think of Dragon Ball with mobile suits.
Yeah, you remember that the whole martial arts tournament?
Yep. Whoever wins, they get to become king of the earth for a year, for like what, 3-4 years?
I would say I hope to be longer than a year. That's an awfully big, investment of resources.
Yes. Them
I
and
think it was
their
like-
represented nation.
Yep, I think it would have been like a 4-year cycle.
Yeah,
Dear God, it is the election anime.
Basically.
It's just whoever wins is not by charisma or anything like that. It's just by brute force.
I don't know. It seems like some of those Gundams run purely on charisma.
Yes and no.
My money was on the horse.
You're talking about.
And Psyche.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of the other Gundam with the horse. There's like one that looks kind of like a centaur, I think.
Oh, so you mean the Gundam that is
Is
a
this the
horse?
one with the Sombrero space station?
Yes.
Yes. Neo Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna skip that one.
No, it is like one of the best series.
It
Legitimately.
is. It is
It's-
one of the best out there.
It's entirely tongue-in-cheek, super campy. It's the whole thing is just like, look how awesome we are. And it's funny. It's worth a watch, I'm telling you.
All of the mobile suits and all of the people from these various nations are pure stereotypes. I mean, for the love of God, the United States Gundam Maxter is a boxer / football player Gundam, kind of looks like,
Yeah, basically.
with 6 shooters.
There is an ancient martial arts style in this franchise, in this series, that's about defeating mobile suits when you're a little person.
Oh, Master
Oh.
Asia.
An ancient form of fighting with mobile suits. Yeah, okay. I buy that.
And
So
we've got him back.
ridiculous.
The undefeated of the East.
Mhm.
Oh.
The East, it's burning red.
Stop. Stop.
Is this kind of like Robot Jocks?
Yes.
In a way, yeah.
Okay. I can't say squat because I love Robot Jocks, so
It's like Robot Jocks, but with a lot of yelling.
it's kind of like
worth the
watching
scope.
Robot Jocks around my mom.
The yelling makes them stronger.
Yes, it does. Like I
Mhm.
said, it's like Dragon Ball with mobile suits.
Never really watched Dragon Ball, but I get the concept.
Should we?
There's
Should we
even
go ahead
there's
and-
even
Yes, we should.
there's even modes. There's even modes.
So today's episode is episode 16, Sayla's Agony. As we begin, the White Base is traveling across the Asian desert to rendezvous with a messenger from General Rebel. Chef Tamura brings Bright a hamburger and tells him that the ship is running low on salt, asking for a resupply if at all possible. A jeep is detected on approach to the ship, and the White Base deploys its guns and then lands. Bright, Ryu, and Kai go outside and find a wounded soldier in the jeep. Bright gives him a passphrase, and the soldier responds with the correct answer.
That
So-
agent looks like he kind of didn't make it quite well.
It's a miracle. The top is wrecked, but it's still totally covered up.
Maybe it was just top layer.
Yeah, the sheet metal's torn up, but somehow the headliner is good. Should have just made the sheet metal out of the headliner.
Should have made the Gundam out of that.
I like that mask and helmet design though. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
it's something you don't really see a whole lot of beyond this episode.
No, I mean, this is mostly. It looks like it's just mostly for desert use, but I mean, you don't really see it beyond this episode, and anywhere else in the franchise.
It wouldn't be the only one and done piece of equipment they have in this show.
No, it wouldn't. Like, how many mobile suits do we only see in one of the various shows that we don't see anywhere else?
Oh, I was just going right back to the re-entry condom.
Oh, right.
By the way, in the movie, for the audience, there's actually a movie version of the TV show. It's a trilogy. They basically just re-edited and created new scenes and recut the TV series into a movie trilogy. But in the movie trilogy, it wasn't that. It's instead the crotch opens up and it shoots out a geyser of cool air, basically.
That's not better.
No, it's not.
I mean, I'm going to avoid the obvious joke there.
Mm-hmm. Please do.
You know,
And I'm going to
I've
bring
you
it
know
up.
I've seen on Transor Z women's breast missiles, so that was awesome.
Austin. I mean, Austin Powers had that too.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, the movie trilogy is the canon of the story.
Oh.
Uh,
Okay. Go ahead, Ironcaster.
I was kind of saying this a little bit before the stream started, but it's just I really like the way the desert looks here, and with this particular shot here, it looks like this should be an album cover.
Mm-hmm.
Sunset or sunrise.
Call it like white base on a desert evening, or white base blues.
Target practice.
Also, going back to our pre-stream conversation, I took a second to look and make sure there was no band called the Nozaku Boys, and I couldn't find anything. So that we may be able to form a band called the Nozaku Boys.
Oh, jeez.
All right, let's continue on. Before we get too
I
far.
mean, a couple of things also that they brought up in here was the fact that the narrator was pointing out that basically everyone's had to be constantly on alert. They don't have anyone to cover, and so they're all sleeping at their stations. And you see Hayato's like trying not to fall asleep. The orphans were there, still sleeping beside them all. Which remind me, why didn't we get rid of the orphans?
Because they got to have some kind of innocence along on the ship.
To be honest, they also proved themselves slightly more useful than most of the other civilians.
Yeah,
Only
that is
slightly.
very true. I mean, it's very interesting that like normally kids are like depicted as pains in the butts. They're always in the way, but these kids, they're always some use on the ship, either helping with distributing supplies, helping with on occasion fighting a fire that was burning someplace in the ship, cleaning up, so on and so forth. I mean, even Bright has in an early episode has to admit that they are actually doing a good job helping with things on the ship. And for a ship like the White Base, where it's got basically a skeleton crew, every hand is needed.
I agree.
All right, we'll keep them around.
Yeah, they had proof.
For now.
Just wait till Gundam Zeta.
The wounded soldier is taken to the infirmary on White Base and tells Commander Bright about Odessa Day, which is the Federation's planned operation to take back the mines held by Caecilia's officer Makuve. The soldier says that capturing the Odessa mines could change the course of the war, so the White Base is to participate in the battle. Bright tries to ask the soldier for more information, but unfortunately the soldier passes away from his injuries. As Amuro repairs the Gundam, Frau brings him food and tells him that they're out of salt. A salt lake is located nearby, and Bright decides to take a detour to get the salt for Chef Tamura. Elsewhere, Ramba Rawl and Haman travel in a gallop across the desert, and Rawl attempts to contact Makuve. One of Makuve's underlings, named Uragan, tells Rawl that Makuve is unavailable, but he will provide him with whatever information he needs. Makuve isn't too happy about Ramba being in the area because he doesn't want Dozol to find out how he's doing. He's informed that the White Base is in the area and tells Rawl about it so that they will attack and hopefully depart in the near future.
Here's this is a look at the interesting hierarchy of the Zeons and how it's kind of flawed. They have the Earth Attack Force, which is basically underneath Cassilia, the Mobile Earth Attack Force, which is underneath Cassilia's command, and kind of right now commanded by Makuve with Garma dead. And then you have Rumbaral on a special assignment by Dozol, who is in charge of the Space Attack Force for the Zeons. And they're kind of butting in with heads with each other, and they aren't kind of working together like they should be, which is going to cause serious flaws later on in the war.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the problems is, frankly, Ramba's too trusting of the hierarchy that he seems to think that things will just work out.
Well, I mean, Rumbaral has a different mindset on how war should be conducted compared to someone like Makuve, who's a little more cunning and manipulative, whereas Rumbaral is more honor bound.
Yep. Which also the first appearance of Makuve.
We've mentioned him in past in snippets here and there.
Purple hair replacement.
Okay, this is a weird. This would be kind of like an odd observation. You look at the way he's drawn. He's got the sunken eyes, the ashen skin, and with the darker hair. When you're doing cartooning, when you want to make a villain, you make them kind of like skeletal, sharp angles, more of a darker colored hues to produce that evil look.
I mean, he definitely does.
I think they're really. I mean, I'm looking.
Go ahead.
He looks sickly.
I mean, he definitely does.
The man looks sickly. He's gaunt.
I would say he's more of.
It's like,
I would say probably aiming for like a Mediterranean background.
Yeah, maybe. He definitely does have kind of a sickly look when you compare him to other characters. He's also kind of, when we get a better picture of him, he kind of looks a little flamboyant in some ways.
Right, and he's small, he's gaunt. He has to rely on cunning because he couldn't live in the world with Ramba Rao. Ramba Rao is a large man, a warrior. He likes to be up front. I respect that. And he's also honorable because he has the strength to be that way, because he can rely on his body, his prowess, his mind. This guy is gaunt. So he's kind of like the difference between a T-Rex and a Velociraptor. He has to be more cunning because he couldn't go toe-to-toe with someone like Rambaral or Dozol.
Well, I mean, Makuve, he's kind of tall and thin, and he mostly uses his mind, whereas Rumbaral is kind of shortish and not fat, but he's
bulky. He's a big dude. He's
bulky.
A bear.
Yes,
Stocky.
He's bulky. And
big barrel-chested guy.
He relies more on his. He has more of a strategy, war, kind of how they refer to him in the show later on as a war horse. They also refer to him as an old-fashioned compared to people like Makuve, who are kind of like the new generation of warriors.
Makuve is one who's going to fight with his mind and strategize, and not in the same sort of field as someone like Rambaral or Dozol or even Shar.
He's perfect for Cassilia.
I already don't like this guy.
And he also has a fascination with old Earth antiques.
Yep.
Like he has a urn. It's either urn or it's a vase.
the thing with Mukuve is often been cited as vases.
Okay, so he has he finds he later on he'll make comments about a vase that he has, which is from a Chinese dynasty. But I mean, he has a serious thing for old Earth memorabilia.
Preoccupation with wealth, that will do him in. I don't like him.
Is it the value of the urn, Chris, or is it something about the art? Because I would make a tangent there, depending on what the answer is.
I think it has to do more so with the art style and how it looks. So it's not wealth, but it's more so just like what went into making it, how does it look, stuff like that.
So there's a tangent there that I'll make in that I'm started reading Heir to the Empire, as some of you know, and there's a scene, very explicit scene, in that where Thrawn is like, if you study the art of a people, you understand their people. So it could speak to the analytical nature of his mind.
I was kind of wondering if that's the route they're taking with that.
And we've already said
you sort of roboted there.
Oh, lovely. Which we've established. Mukuve is a very is a strong thinker. He's a very cerebral person.
Well, also being in charge of the mines, as he is, it lends towards him being more interested in the material wealth, with having the resources, having the raw materials. So, and then also with the vase here, it shows that he as a character is someone who's going to care about the physical objects. It's like the wealth, the riches.
Well, I mean, Xeon needs the mines. Otherwise they have to rely on mining from asteroids, which that apparently takes a little longer, especially with how few of them are in the Earth's sphere. Unless they're moved into the Earth's sphere, there's very few asteroids lying around. So, I mean, they need the Earth mines in order to get their supplies and fuel their war machine.
Yeah, it'd be far easier to transport materials across the surface of a planet than constantly trying to send rockets up and down to whatever asteroids, again, that you said you'd have to bring into Earth orbit in the first place.
Oh, you got to find it first.
As well as fuel is a lot easier to... It's a lot more accessible in the Earth's sphere than it would be to rely on the Jupiter energy fleet. Which, I don't know how long it takes to travel between Jupiter and the Earth's sphere.
Yeah, I don't know. You would assume it'd be a while.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
No. Actually, real quick before we move on, we're welcoming back Fenrir.
Hey, man.
Hey, gang, how's it going?
Glad you joined us.
Welcome.
We've been talking about Mukuve.
Ah, the creepy guy.
There's apparently a lot to talk about him.
Yeah,
Consensus.
I was waiting to hear what your consensus was going to be on him.
Well, first of all, he just scares the living shit out of me. He's too creepy. I mean, granted, this is old animation. The points of what was creepy and was pretty weird to define. But he just looks like the kind of guy who waits for someone behind a man's back.
I mean,
he looks like he's the type who'll scheme and wait to stab you in the back.
I mean, Mukuve is a good villain. He's a good villain.
I agree.
He is memorable. He has long-lasting effects in Gundam.
Yes. And that is why he has the looks for it.
I also think it's worth noting that in a series about giant robots, we spend an awful lot, if not a vast majority of our time, talking about the depth of the characters around the robots, which is the hallmark of a good series.
Yeah.
It's a very good point.
Good characters.
It's got good character development.
And kick-ass giant robots.
How cool was it when we saw those robots beat each other up? Oh, yeah, these are so cool.
Continuing?
Yep.
Okay.
I think we're ready to go on.
Rumble Rawl decides to set up an ambush with the Gallop, his own Goof mobile suit, and 2 Zakus. The White Base arrives at their destination and finds it dried out. Marker performs further research and finds that the lake moves once every 500 years or so, so they begin a search for it. The Gallop approaches, and Bright wonders what it is. Amuro says he'll go out with a Gundam despite not knowing what the enemy is. However, as he suits up for combat, Sayla suddenly launches in the Gundam. Amuro asks Job what happened, and he says that Sayla told him she had special orders, although no such thing occurred. The G-forces of the Gundam as it launches prove too much for Sayla, and she vomits inside the cockpit. She
Classic.
desires to contact the Zeon, but instead she's attacked by Rumble Rawl.
Oh,
Rawl-
jeez. Someone has to clean up the Gundam.
Rawl viciously attacks the Gundam with his goof, and Sayla finds that she's literally no match for him. Amuro launches in the gun cannon to try to help her. He tries to contact her, but finds that she has shut off all communication. Ramba disappears, and Sayla walks right into a trap he's set up, where he's hidden the goof under the sand. He uses the goof's heat rod to cut the Gundam's right foot in half. So here we have the crux of the whole problem of the episode. It's just Sayla doing something incredibly stupid.
It is very, yeah, it is really stupid. It'd be basically court-martial and death sentence in a traditional military,
What?
which the White Base
Yep.
is not considered traditional. So, I mean, they do kind of let it go.
Yeah.
What
The
level of
white base crew
unions?
are practically immune to
It's
court
like an
martial.
animal house of what the military should be.
Well, I mean, even Miss Matilda in early episodes said that if General Revel didn't treat you guys special project, you guys would have been court-martialed a long time ago.
They attempted to do that in one of the early episodes when they dock with the
Luna
Luna
2.
2, correct? Yeah.
They attempted to withhold them for preparation for court-martial.
Mhm.
So,
What level of stupid is required to think I'm going to go talk to the Zeon, so I'm just going to pilot the one thing they want to destroy? Cut off communication so you can't call for help or no one can help you, and go out there completely unprepared. This lady's genius.
I mean, she
She
could have
should've
at
been
least
killed.
used one of the. I mean, don't they have other ways of transportation? She could have used them.
I mean, so it is mentioned earlier in the episode when she launches that she has done simulations with the Gundam, and so I mean, she has it in her head. She unfortunately has it in her head that she thinks she has the ability to face real combat when all she has is simulated practice.
Right, and this is a combat that even in the best of situations, Amuro would have trouble with. As you can clearly see here, a demonstration of the Zeon technology advancing to the point where it's starting to effectively neutralize the capabilities of the Gundam. Add
Yeah.
on top of that, Ramba Rawl's expert piloting skills, and you have a very, very, very tough opponent.
He is an excellent strategist here.
And did these simulations? And I'm kind of wondering, these simulations that she participated in, did they establish contact with the enemy and develop some kind of dialogue?
Well, I
Is
mean,
she really this
have-
stupid? I mean, honestly.
have we did they all they I'm pretty sure they mentioned earlier as to why she wanted to make contact with the Zeons, and that was because she wanted to find out information about
Well, we'll get to that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah,
Moron.
I just want to show that again.
Great animation right there. Just
Mhm.
like the machinery
Indeed.
being ripped apart.
I mean, look at the detail. It's pretty good.
I mean, it's one of the hallmarks of the series, and I think of the time where you do get these close up detailed shots, but it's not part of the animation. It's a single still image that they were able to spend more time on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of add like GIF like flashes over it to give the effect of motion. But yeah, this is what you get.
Real quick, saying hello, Jace. Glad to have you in the chat.
I wonder if he's having another gay off.
Continuing on.
I mean, of all the machines for Sayla to pilot, she had to pick the Gundam, but with the core fighter, with the core unit being the core system of it all being modular, she could have taken any of the other two.
Mm-hmm. Or even just the
You
core
say
fighter
that as
itself.
if she thinks. She could just stay out of it. I mean, there's a wacky idea, not done something so stupid.
I mean, she has a certain goal in her head, and so she feels like it is very important that she needs to learn find out what she wants to know. And that is, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, you nailed it. She felt. That's the problem. Get rid of the feelings. If you're feeling, you're not thinking. Use logic, which is obviously not her forte.
Well, I mean, she's mostly been serving as a communications officer, and so she is going to go through the same phases in a way that Amuro went through. Being that she's a woman, she's going to go through them a lot quicker.
Well, being a communications officer, you'd figure she'd find some way to send some kind of communique where it wouldn't be traced.
Officer.
That is her expertise.
She's an officer in the same way that a lot of these people are officers.
She's about the same rank as Amuro is, which is like what, petty officer or something like that.
Yeah, just it's a not even a formal rank at this point. It's just a formality. They're kind of just doing the jobs that they were assigned and have become accustomed
does
to.
any of their ranks even matter anymore?
Well, I mean,
That's a good question.
Yeah,
You know what?
Good point.
As long as they all know to fear the backhand of justice.
Bright's backhand of justice. But I mean, yeah, I mean they.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Going back to what Matilda said is that basically when she announced to Bright that General Revel is protecting them all, she basically announced that, hey, you also all have official ranks within the Federation military. You are now all you're not all just civilians. You are officially part of, you've been impressed into federal service, into the Federation service.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a weird mix.
And if you don't like it, you're court-martialed.
Yeah. You can be imprisoned for what, like a year or two?
It depends on the severity of the crime.
Court-martial, and you get the backhand of justice.
Yes.
You waste too much salt on this ship, you get the backhand of justice.
All that salt gone, and so they must be punished.
You know, the solution to this is simple. They should have just spent 5 minutes on Twitter.
Why would you want to go there? That's where womanists hang around.
Amuro prevents Rambo Raw from getting near the Gundam. And Rambo begins attacking Amuro relentlessly with his heat rod. He wants to force Amuro into hand-to-hand combat, but he has to divert his attention when Guntank attacks him. As the Gallop joins the attack, Clamp asks Haman why they can't use the Zanzibar to attack, and Haman explains that it's experimental and they can't reveal it with Makuve nearby. Amuro is attacked by Rawl's wingman, Akus, but he destroys the Zaku when he runs out of ammo. Rawl's other wingman, Kozan, grabs the Gundam and destroys the main camera so he can capture it. Rawl's shield is damaged by the Guntank's fire, and he orders Kozin to fall back. Kozin tries to escape, but Amuro blocks his path with gun cannon and knocks him out by punching the Zaku. The Gallop retreats, and Amuro drags the Zaku back to the White Base, while the gun tank brings the Gundam back. Kozin is removed from his Zaku and taken prisoner once brought aboard the White Base.
I think it was more than just a punch. I think there was a nice punch and a kick in there.
There was, but I couldn't get a good enough shot of it. So you got to see his helmet shattering, which is usually one of the universal signifiers of someone dying,
Or
even when they're on Earth.
In this case, being knocked unconscious.
Oh, right, he does survive. Real quick, saying heads up and hello to Wake Down.
Hello.
Hey.
Watch out, Brightest Day. You got to talk about that heat rod some more.
Do I? Next week, maybe? Not right now.
Yep. Wake Down's on the hunt for new clips. He's
Among
always
other
watching.
things. So, while you're on that screenshot, actually, here is a stark contrast between Haman and the other female characters we've been exposed to in the series, in that she is actually an intelligent, cunning woman who knows the correct decision to make in this circumstance.
She knows her place.
She's been at Rumbaral's side for so long that she's kind of picked up her own ideas and tactics from him.
Well,
And I did do a little more research on the couple. They are not officially married, but they are basically been together for so long that they are considered a married couple.
Common law is the term for that.
Yes.
while it may not be canon, you do get
I
a
kind of look
good
at her
job
kind of like.
you do get to see a bit more of that relationship in Gundam: The Origin,
Yes.
which, yes, as we've pointed out many times now, that series is not canon, but it does a good job of furthering to establish their relationship.
It is another universe to the main Gundam universe. It's kind of another dimension in a way.
This woman's kind of like Ramba Rao's own version of Frau. She's there. She knows her place. She's trying to help him. She supports him, make sure he gets the job done, and she's always there for him. I see that the same relationship where Ramba Rao welcomes it, but Amuro completely rejects it. He could have a woman like this.
It's not rejecting.
Those are
it's
rare.
It's not that Amuro's rejecting. It's just that he is oblivious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a dumbass.
He's a kid. Ramba Rao is a full-ass man.
At that age, I already knew what the mechanics of it was.
When he's got his eyes on Matilda, he's making a choice.
Well, I mean, there's a difference. Is that Frau is?
I mean, he rejected choice, and he's all googly eye over Matilda.
Well, the difference is that Frau was the annoying neighbor girl that's been bringing him food while he's focusing on his work and everything in his workshop, and Matilda is a woman. There's a difference. There's a difference.
That's only because of age.
Yeah, a lot of things about age.
Women age. Women age, and for a lot of women, time is not their friend.
Especially when they hit 30.
Let's just admit it that Amuro's into cougars.
Well, you got to remember, Amuro's always had a thing about.
He does. He does have
figure.
Mommy issues, so that's a huge chance there.
Yeah. He has always been lacking that mother figure in his life because of his mother abandoning him.
She was worthless. She did him a favor.
Oh.
Yeah.
He'll appreciate it.
I've seen this before.
Oh, that is nice.
This is
a nice one.
A pretty rare series of models called the UC hard graph. which features a lot of the more offbeat squads you'll find in the various Universal Century squads. The one I picked up that I actually own is the hover truck from 8th MS team, along with its pilots and some of the main characters. But here's a good example of how different the stature is between Ramba Ral and some of the other characters, including Haman. So he's almost like a Napoleon-esque figure, except he's a little beefier.
Hey, actually, Napoleon was actually pretty tall for back then. It was because of the conversion between the French metrics and Imperial English measurements.
I say that in a stereotypical way when he was assumed to be short.
Well, that was also the propaganda.
Yeah.
In part playing into that.
But yes, you definitely can see here that Rumbarol is, well, besides being the center of the picture, he is the person that takes up that your eye is drawn to, because he's dressed differently, and also he has this air of command and authority around him.
Mm-hmm. I would say this is probably the difference between
I like
5'5" and 5'10".
aesthetics.
Yeah, let me see if I can find out how
I
tall.
like the Nazi
Rumbarol is.
aesthetics. It looks good on him.
I looked, I couldn't find anything. All I could find is height of the goof, but yeah, let me know if you find something.
Let's see here.
Well, should we get back to it?
Maybe.
We are at the last paragraph, so we have a little time left. On the bridge, Bright asks Sayla what she was doing, and the only answer she gives is that she wanted to show that a woman could fight as well as a man. Bright is noticeably disappointed and thought she was smart. For her actions, Bright and Mirai decide to put her in the brig for 3 days. Rio escorts her away, and she sees Frau delivering food to Kozen. She takes the food instead and asks about Char. He tells her that Char lost his position for failing to protect Garma and is likely returned home to Side 3. Sayla is put into her cell, but cries tears of joy knowing that her brother Char is alive. The White Base soon finds the new location of the lake, where they hopefully can recover their salt supply. And there we have the
3
true
days for almost
motivation
getting everyone killed. Don't be too hard on it.
Well, they also can't afford to just leave her locked up.
Yeah.
No, you can afford to drop her off.
You know, in
She's
some
a threat to
militaries,
the
what you
entire
did would just
crew.
be. You know, in some militaries, what you just did would have been execution, immediate.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were discussing before,
You know,
it's
you
this unique case where they don't have anyone to take her place. Like, they're on such a skeleton crew, and she's one of the only experienced officers they have. So they're kind of like, okay, you're going to get a slap on the wrist until we can, figure something else out.
Punish you.
You're going to get shitty meals for 3 days.
Yeah,
you don't
until
have
she
any
gets
salt.
the next cycle of feels. Yeah, genius.
Well,
I'd have dumped her out.
After this, her character greatly improves, and she kind of ships up.
Also, I would assume she would be on a shorter leash from that point on.
Oh, yes.
Like you don't leave the bridge kind of leash.
So the whole, even
Yeah,
if
just
it's not true, she wanted to
chain her
prove
to the
that a
radiator.
woman could fight as good as a man. Seriously,
Yeah, that's the answer you're going to
is
give.
this Dunning Kruger?
I mean,
This is gamma. This is gamma weapons grade Dunning Kruger.
I mean, she would have risked. She risked a lot by doing something that stupid.
Well, I mean, if you did notice, Bright was the one that suggested that, and she went along with it to cover up her true motives, which wasn't to prove that, but it was to try to get information from the Zeons about her brother.
I mean, what else do you say? What else do you say?
Well, yeah, we
I
get
think my brother is Char Aznable.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
It's a very Boston answer. Sure. That's why I did it.
Here's a wacky idea. Learn some
She
self-control.
could, or she could have said she's suicidal. She's suicidal.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Should I spoil a little bit of this? How long they haven't seen each other?
That's nothing. Go ahead.
I mean,
so they haven't seen each other in probably about 10 years or so. So I mean,
Oh, darn.
she seriously wants to know what happened to her brother and where. About approximately 10 years. Approximately 10 years. I don't know if it's actually 10 years. Is probably less than that. It is probably less than that. Probably about 5 or so, really. But I mean, she seriously wants to know what happened to her brother. Where is he? She thought she was never going to see him again, and she ends up seeing a guy who looks exactly like him on Side 7.
Okay, look. What about what Decibel said? What about self-control? Because they're in the middle of a war.
Well, this is crew made up of mostly civilians, so I mean, self-control is something that's still being learned.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of wondering what her idea was, taking out the Gundam, the most powerful weapon she's had simulations with. Yeah, okay, that really affects the real world. They may be able to, like me, having simulations of flying a plane and then actually taking a plane out and feeling the G forces as it moves around, all the turbulence. But hey, I've had simulations, and on top of that, you're going to go to the enemy who wants that machine destroyed above all else. What was you going to do? Put out a white flag? Say, hey, hope sign, not here to fight? Oh, it's absolute genius. Let's give her a promotion.
There's a lot of leaps of logic that have to happen for that plan to make any kind of sense.
Yeah. I mean, this is also an anime, so I mean, leaps of logic.
That defies logic.
Reigns supreme.
And I mean, you see, like, surprisingly, and the Zaku is doing some other damage beyond just the foot, which, yeah, that's all got to be repaired. And God, they better hope they have some supplies to be able to fix it. Mm-hmm. That, the camera.
Oh, don't worry. They'll pay for it with her feelings. She'll just feel it better.
They're gonna patch it up with their endless supply of Gundam shields.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we don't see any. I mean, this is actually
what they do.
Supply issues is something that does come up later on in the show.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it comes up in this episode. Salt is a supply.
Well, yes. I mean, like I'm talking about like repair parts and stuff like that. That comes up later on the show.
You know, if she can have her feelings surgically removed, don't let her near anything important. You can't trust her.
Yeah. I mean, what if they? Would Char use this against her? I mean, use the whole information point against her so he can get her to do what he wants. I mean, the guy looks like a good strategist. I mean, you can make a plan like that.
Well,
you can easily.
We will see what happens when they meet again later on.
But that's a good line of thinking, though. Like, if the enemy understood what just happened, then that would immediately be leveraged against them.
Good thing the enemy never finds out.
Well, depending on how attentive Char was, depending how much Char knows, I mean,
he basically, like, so when they met on Side 7, I think he was a little quicker on the draw. He's like, is this my sister? Like, he, like, pulled that together pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm talking about him knowing the fact that he could use this to his advantage.
I mean, he on Side 7, when he kicks the pistol out of her hands and he flies away, he says it can't be Artasia. She's way too strong for it.
Amazing. He didn't get attacked by the feels. How? Wow. See how that works.
I mean, he didn't get attacked by anything. He
had self-control. He'd have kicked her in the mouth, she probably wouldn't have had this problem. Just an observation. Could have solved the problem a long time ago.
The views expressed in this panel do not expressly indicate the views of everyone on the panel.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry.
need a
Kicked her in the
permanent
mouth
warning
in
going-
Minecraft.
Better.
He's learning.
Oh, geez.
I'm a problem solver.
You just happen to solve the problems you create.
Hey, business 101. Create a problem, present yourself as a solution.
Yep. Wait down. So,
It's bound to happen.
overall ratings on the episode. Go counterclockwise from Chris.
Okay.
Sure.
I will say it is a 7.5 out of 10.
Agent? Or not?
I'll give it a 6. She's annoying. She needs to be out more than 3 days. Oh, here we go. I'm a woman with feels. I'm going to let another woman with feels decide my fate. Oh, this is like a line of genius I haven't seen in a long time. Amazing.
Damn.
Yeah, I'll be surprised.
wait.
I'll be surprised if they survive with these two idiots on there.
I just remembered I can do this.
Ironcaster, you forgot about the in-between animation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And you also forgot the
Weapon.
greatest speech ever.
Again, by the way, for our female audience, the views and thoughts of some of the members on this panel do not reflect the whole panel.
Just try to see what we can get away with.
Just most of us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, leave me's the only face on here. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Down.
Oh, I unfortunately do
Sure.
not have a camera to show
Throw
my
the
face.
villain villain under the bus.
I thought you
I mean, in
would
a way,
respect
we're all
that.
villains. I mean.
Don't they all usually wind up doing that to themselves, though? At last, I
Just
have
the really bad ones.
Benrir, what's your score?
Well, this will pretty much set it out in words, but I give it a 7.5, at least out of 10.
I'm on the same boat, 7.5.
Iron.
Yeah, I think I'm about the same as well. I did like seeing Sayla actually do something, and it is for the benefit of plot down the line, ultimately, to kind of help remind you that, by the way, there's a thing that we brought up in the first episode, in like the first or second episode, we've just not touched on since then. And, it shows that, hey, someone other than Amuro is able to pilot the Gundam. Though why they don't let him get a little rest now and then.
I mean,
Pilot.
there have been mentions in previous episodes of Amuro saying, hey, you should let Ryu or Sayla pilot the Gundam.
Yeah, I mean,
Also, it's Kai that's usually the pilot of the gun cannon, correct? If I
Yes.
remember correctly. I would say
that
that the
turned out
gun
well.
cannon is
Now
probably
you
the
know why he
closest.
doesn't get any rest.
I would say that the gun cannon is probably closest to the Gundam in terms of it being a medium range suit to a close range suit versus the others who
Yeah.
pilot the gun tank, which is a long range suit.
Yeah, I mean, each of the mobile suits serve a different purpose. You have the Gundam, which is close to mid-range. You have the gun cannon, which is mid-range. And then you have the gun tank, which is long-range support. And from some of the research, some of the stuff that I read is that the Gundam is actually a byproduct of studying of the development and the manufacturing of the gun cannon, whereas the gun cannon is same thing towards the gun tank. The gun tank was actually the earliest mobile suit that eventually got developed into the gun cannon, and then later on into the Gundam.
Right, I believe the Type 61 main battle tank is their primary weapon before that. So I would imagine that the gun tank is just a largely upscaled version of that, as far as the base goes. it's got the twin cannons
Yes.
on a pintle mount, so it's kind of the same layout. They just like morphed that with what they learned from the Zaku that they captured.
Yes.
That would be an interesting. I mean, I'm sure that's covered somewhere, but
Actually, trying to think of who it was. Kakarot. I don't remember the
197.
number.
Yeah.
197. He actually does the. And he has a video where he talks about the variants of the Gundam or of the gun tank and gun cannons, and the development history of the two mobile suits. And actually, there was a mobile suit prior, a proto. I guess you consider it a proto mobile suit prior to the gun tank that was being developed around the same time as the Zeon Zaku's. It just was in slower development because the Federation didn't have much confidence in mobile suits until they saw the Operation British, which is the operation that saw a colony from Side 2 being hijacked by the Zeons and dropped on Earth, trying to hit Jaburo, but ended up hitting Australia instead, just completely wiping Sydney literally off the map. I mean, there's nothing left of Sydney.
Let me tell you, Australia deserves it. They did nothing wrong. Australia deserved it.
Can't argue.
Once again, the opinions
Can't argue
expressed
against
in
that.
this panel.
We'll have to come up with some. I'll have to come up with a new.
I mean, I was attacked by a kangaroo once. Hell, screw the whole place.
I mean, they did lose the Emu Wars.
Just went there one day, walked through the desert. A kangaroo showed out of nowhere with boxing gloves and strike me.
No, that was your Tekken dream.
You know that you're
So
not
trying to
supposed
figure
to
out
drink.
what happened that day.
You know you're not supposed to drink cactus milk, right?
I didn't drink anything. I was just walking down the desert, just doing a small jog, and then it just showed out of nowhere.
So anyway,
I was just thinking.
for those interested, and I know Agent, you expressed some interest. In a couple hours, I will be doing a build stream for the SDF1 Macross Movie Edition. If any of you would like to come on and discuss Macross, you are more than welcome.
Oh, come on, Wake Down.
Has
That's
there been
not
any
a joke.
update on the Blu-rays
Try
for
getting
that?
punched by one of those bastards. That's fun.
Wait Down just got a clip of Fenrir talking about his experience with the kangaroo.
What were you saying, Oncaster?
So I'll just pull it up here. The Blu-ray collection of Robotech is going to be coming out here at the end of the month.
Ooh,
Nice. That's a good price too. Actually, I might get that.
Mm-hmm.
Brightest Day, Wake Down wants to know when your stream is going to be.
So 2 hours, so 9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh,
I've been looking for more information on this Robotech thing, and all I found were a bunch of old comics. Couldn't find any episodes online, though.
Well, so one, there's probably a reason for that. There was a huge licensing battle for a long time. I think it might be on that site that I sent you forever ago. Let me check real quick.
This still has Harmony Gold on it
as
a partner.
Yeah. There's a bunch of good videos out there detailing the troubled history of both the series and the license and the translation to English, which is just a good bit of history for anime if you want to check those out. Yeah, so it is on that website that I linked you guys so long ago. I will drop that back in the Discord. And it has all 3 seasons. Well, I say 3 seasons, but
it definitely looks like very, very beautiful animation.
Oh, this is one of my favorites.
It's something I'm gonna have to go actually get into at some point. I've yet to check out Macross properly for myself.
I've started watching a couple episodes, but that was a couple of years ago, and I've kind of fallen off of doing that. It was available
Every
on
morning when I get up before I either work out or train with my weapons, I get my half-hour Robotech in. I'm actually going through the Invent Invasion right now. Beautiful.
The show was available for a month on Amazon Prime for a time a couple of years ago.
So, Agent, I just added you
Robotech
to
was
the,
actually my first introduction to anime.
I added you to the group chat for this, and I
Good.
posted the link to Robotech in that group chat. So everybody should be able to go watch it.
Sweet.
Well,
And-
gentlemen, this was fun, but I gotta leave. I need to go mourn the loss of a funny man.
Take care, sir.
Good
Yes.
luck.
So
Peace to you all. Oh, and Decibel, are you gonna be good this Friday? Because we already missed the last one. My God, I think he's no longer there. Okay, I'm gonna leave.
Nah, you might be gone.
as
Yeah,
his icon has changed, I think.
yeah. Just tell him that I asked for Friday. He'll know what it means.
Yep.
Peace,
Friday?
guys. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
So we were talking about G Gundam earlier, and just kind of a comment came across my Twitter feed.
Oh dear.
Huh, seems like Earth's a giant pile of rubble. Wonder if anyone around here knows my brother. Holy fucking shit, Shiny Finger is fucking awesome. Oh my god, I'm the motherfucking Christ King of Hearts. He's like, ugh. Fuck yes, the East is burning red.
Master Asia's death was just so heartbreaking in the end. Especially when you find out.
We'll get to that series one day.
Yes.
Anyway,
All right, we'll do a bit of wrap up here.
Oh,
So you got your stream coming up?
yes, as I have already plugged. On top of that, I have 3 read streams a week. Pegasus Actual Podcast on Thursday, and whatever the hell else I want for the rest of the week.
Let's see. Tomorrow night I'll be over on Pop Culture Archivist playing some Final Fantasy.
Cool.
Nice. And then Jason and I will be doing our stream on Thursday afternoon, where we're going to just talk about various things in geek culture. And we are currently working on our next episode of Tales from the Jedi Archives, talking about the Dawn of the Jedi, the Dawn of the Jedi comic series, the Volume 2 Prisoner of Bogan, and which will be on Sunday afternoon at some we're aiming for next Sunday, but kind of been delayed a couple times.
Darn.
Yes, very.
What about you, Agent? Is anything going on this week? Got anywhere you'll be?
I am going to, here, and I'm going to be with Brightest Day tonight from Macross. I mean, come on, it's Robotech. How can you miss that? I'm going to be releasing the second chapter of the Henchman's Handbook on the subject of freedom and what it actually means. And I just bought the animated movie Henchman. I had to. It was actually pretty decent, so I think I'm going to put together a review for that.
Okay. I guess with that, we'll be heading on out, guys. So, as always, take care. And have a good one. Let's...
Hail Xeon.
Leon sucks.
Wrong one.